Welcome to the Business Legends Podcast, where we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs so that we can learn from their successes, pump up their own inspiration, and learn the motives behind the people that make change happen. I'm the host of the show, Reese Arlen, and it's my birthday, bitches! And I'm here along with my co-host, Christian Webb. Say what's up!
Happy birthday, good sir.
Thank you, thank you. We are accompanied by a man, the myth, the legend, one of my one of my very good friends that I like despite the fact that he likes Droid products over Apple. Phil, thank you so much for joining us.
No, I appreciate you having me on, and happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you so much, thank you. So Phil is with G&G Landscape Solutions, and Phil, why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners what that is?
Yeah, we're full solution, turnkey solution landscape company here. Residential, we do residential install, residential maintenance, we do commercial install, and commercial maintenance as well. We're more of a boutique type of landscape company. We deal with a lot of custom builders on the residential side. Our clients are usually NFL players and the ones that need a lot of nice hardscapes and landscapes and have the budget to do that. So
so a fantastic commercial landscaping company. But tell us a little bit about you. So you're well known for
me personally on the business side, past couple companies is going into companies that don't have a sales and marketing team, and they need to build one out, or they have a sales team that is struggling and they need to drive strategies and policies and procedures, as well as create branding, and just really driving top line revenues and training and whatnot.
So when you go into a company, how do you decide what goes first?
It's a lot of just talking to everybody, talking to every single person that's on the sales team, as well as the operation team. Sitting down with the owner of the company and asking them, hey, what are we looking to do right now? Is it short term? What is your long term? And then what is your kind of your ABC type of scenario you're looking at? And then just sitting with them. It's a lot of hip to hip at the beginning, just watching, listening. And determining, okay, this person is right in this position, and they need to be, have different strategies or a different approach. They're in the wrong market segment. How are they? Do they even need to be on the sales side? I just had a salesperson that was a better designer. He's a landscape designer. He was on the sales. We just moved him into a landscape architect role. So putting the right people in the right places is what I do the first, probably 60 days learning that.
Yeah, I bet several years in of a company's life, they probably accidentally scoop people into positions that they actually don't like, just out of convenience.
No, they do. They, especially this, smaller to medium-sized companies, they do, right? So the owner's running around. He's doing everything, right? So he's putting people in places that he thinks or she thinks that's good, and letting them go. And then they realize, okay, this is not working. We need accountability. We need somebody to be tracking this. Hey, we need to build out reports on the, in the CRMs, and what are the strategies? We need to get this in line. So
that's nice. We probably work a lot with people just like you, to be honest.
Yeah,
you absolutely, you guys do.
Yeah, it's so interesting. One of the things that I've learned through, God, how many episodes have we done now? 44 or 5 or 6. I don't know. So 40 some. What did you say, Caleb? Shoot. 46. There we go. Thank you. Oh, by the way, shout out to Kaylee for producing our new backdrop. I love it. Forgot to shout that out at the beginning of the episode. Shoot. But it's amazing because you'd think that landscaping is amazingly different than somebody that owns, say, bar franchises or something like that. But it goes back to what I was just telling Austin yesterday. A lot of the business development fundamentals, marketing fundamentals, sales fundamentals, that they are uniform industry to industry, and it's incredible. One of the things that I just happen to know about your career, knowing you for as long as I have, is you put teams into positions. You build teams to kind of do that, because at any given time you guys have God knows how many different landscaping solution type of services going on. Can you touch on that? And kind of what I'm asking specifically is what does it take to manage multiple teams at the same time?
Yeah, it's sitting down with them and giving them a path and we're actually writing that path down. One salesperson is you're going after custom builders. What's that strategy look like, right? I like to have a rolling 30-day strategy plan for each one with tasks that are belonged to them for each month and activities around those goals. And that's what
Keeping
they're
track of
focused
them,
on.
I imagine.
That's exactly
Yeah, sure.
right.
Yeah.
It's a tracking.
Yeah.
And every one salesperson, that commercial maintenance, you have another sales rep with on commercial maintenance side. What is a strategy? So there are all a lot of different strategies built in with each salesperson into the segment that they're in. And then just it's helping them, right? Hip to hip, staying hip to hip with them. But then also following up at the end of the month. What do we do? What do we need to pivot to? How do we revise this? Where was our successes? Where were our failures? And then adjust and go on to the next 30 days. So that's really what it is. It's setting them up, giving them the tools, the tools to be successful, the strategy to be successful, then sitting with them and being in the trenches with them while they're doing it.
Sure.
But then also having the marketing side backing it up for each different segment.
So when you're going to actually, you're probably auditing the whole thing, right? But when you're actually interviewing the sales reps to kind of find out what caliber of skill you have in the room, like what are like the strongest traits you like to see in a sales rep?
So I just hired two new sales reps in the last 3 weeks. So
We didn't even know that.
Yeah.
we got some fresh insights here. Yeah.
On the residential, I was really looking for someone that could connect with the client, that is trustworthy, somebody that instantly that person looks at and says, okay, I trust you, you know what you're doing, you're the expert, and he's not from the industry. He's not from the landscaping industry. It was more important for me to have that person that is gonna be the proactive, doing the activities that I don't have to manage on a day-to-day, right? Because I don't like to micromanage, so. But just that person that's trustworthy, that the homeowners and the custom builders look at and say, okay, I trust you. You look like a trustable person, right? What do you look like?
Yeah.
Yep, you look like you're trustable.
Karen was our last week's guest, and she actually it's funny you should mention that, because she was just talking about a colleague that she has not involved with Catalyst, but by the way, Phil knows Karen very well as well, so he knew who I was talking about. But she was talking about a colleague not involved with Catalyst, and it's very skilled tradesman with that, but they didn't have the appearance of somebody that was professional, And Karen, she wasn't afraid to tell him that. She told him very politely and nicely, as Karen does, but she was talking about, there is an expectation of excellence, and it begins with how you look. So if you're, in this case, the person was a painter, right? And if you're a painter and you show up and you look sloppy, you look kind of run down and you got paint all over you, even though that's a part of the trade. Like, could you imagine going to one of these NFL players' houses, for example, and just, looking dirty,
Yeah.
There's a huge piece of that. I don't want to be too invasive here, but this is solely out of my own curiosity, but, it's really hard to assess how much you can trust a person other than that, first glance, like, they look put together
I
type
have a
of thing.
very trustworthy face.
Yeah, well, Christian is trustworthy. I was going to take a shot at you, but I don't want to do that on air. But what types of questions did you ask, and did you go by your gut, like what they were saying? What types of things were you looking for? I know you said you were looking for that trustability, reliability, but I'm just wondering what types of questions you asked, what you were looking for, your gut type of thing.
It was funny. Dustin was the guy that I hired on the residential, and funny enough, when he got there probably 15 or 20 minutes earlier than I did.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eric Powell, you know him too.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Powell, I talked to him yesterday, and he said, Christian, he's giving you a hard time. He said, Christian just doesn't understand that 15 minutes early is on time.
And you're one of them.
Christian, to his credit, he's the type of person, if we have a 1 o'clock appointment, he'll be there at 12:59 and 48 seconds, but he's still early, but it gets people kind of in a panicky mode. And
It does.
Eric is, so Eric and I had a meeting yesterday, and
Also gets you talked about.
that's true. Yeah.
Noticed.
Yeah, right.
You get noticed.
And our meeting was at 1, and I was there at like 12:50 or something. Eric was right in there. I was like, "You're a little early, aren't you?" He's like, "No, I'm on time." And you're on time too. But anyway, it was fun. So back to you.
Yeah, no. So I
question.
walk in, and it was actually Caribou Coffee on Fairview.
Mhm.
So I walked in there, and I saw him and recognized him from his LinkedIn, and he's having a conversation with a lady that's two tables over. He just moved here, Dustin, a couple months ago with his wife. And okay, thank you very much. So we sit down, we start talking, and the lady's leaving, and she gives him, says, here's my name, here's my number, here's my business. Please give me a call. I'd love to sit down with you, discuss more.
Wow.
You're a great person. In the 10 minutes that I talked with you, it was nice because instantaneously I was like, wow.
Yeah.
He
I
had.
would have immediately thought paid actor.
I asked him, I did. I said, did you pay this lady to sit
Yeah.
here and do this?
I
And
mean,
he was like,
honestly,
no.
if he did pay her, I think I would
That's
hire him
brilliant.
more.
That's
Absolutely,
brilliant.
absolutely.
That's brilliant.
But back to, on the other sales rep that we hired was, you ask the questions of, give me some experiences you've been through, right? But it all comes down to, it's your gut.
Sure.
Really, because they can lie to you. I
Yeah.
mean, you're interviewing salespeople,
Mhm.
right? They're trying to sell themselves.
Yeah.
So it comes down to just your gut feeling, and it's numbers. How well do you know your numbers?
Yeah.
What were your goals?
Especially
what
for
were your
sales.
percentages? Absolutely.
Especially. Yeah.
But within 90 days, it's black and white, right? You hit the goals, that
Or you
percent,
don't.
or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that makes it a little bit easier too. It's like we were actually having a conversation yesterday with Austin, and we were talking about the way bonuses are structured and things like that, and the way that bonuses work in companies, it's black and white. You hit it or you don't.
yep.
And that's just it. And there can be, a hurricane can hit and you can miss stuff or whatever. Doesn't matter. It's all about those numbers.
I'd love to pick your brain one day about outside sales reps and marketing, because that is a hard hill to get over.
It is. It's tough.
Could you imagine somebody showing up at your office that doesn't know everything about marketing and then trying to sell the owner of a company on the fact that they need them?
Yeah, it is. That's tough. I mean, that goes to technology. Technology is the same way, right?
Yeah.
Most of the sales reps have no idea. They have a sales engineer that goes with them that can
Mhm.
talk the guts of it.
Yeah.
So that it's almost like
Like a robot. They
it's-
have a run. This is Teddy the robot. He will tell you what to do, and then somebody gets in. Yeah, we will do this with your landscaping. And then you're like, yeah, Teddy's a little off, but he knows what he's
good.
talking
He knows
about.
what he's
but,
talking about.
That's why I'm here. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it's almost like a business development role. Get me in front of the person, and you bring the professional that knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what we found is that you pretty much we would have to instead of outside sales reps, it would have to be business development.
Absolutely.
People who know the field in and out.
Absolutely.
On the subject of that, going with your guy, I'm a firm believer in that too. And everybody wants to think they have a good judge of character, and everybody thinks they have a good judge of character has been burnt at some point. It's just a reality of life. Can you think of a time that you can share that you've been burnt about going with your gut and like a lesson that you've learned as a consequence of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, plenty of times over the years of my career, you ask all the questions.
Mhm.
They answer them correctly. They answer them perfectly, and
Yep.
your gut is saying, "Yeah, this is the person."
Mhm.
And then they come on board, and you're like, "Uh-oh, it's not the person
Not
that
the
they
person.
said."
Yep.
It's going to take me twice the amount of time to really help and train this person
Mhm.
to get them to the level that I need them to be. And then then you have to sit back and make a decision.
Sure.
Do I cut ties now,
Yeah.
or do I spend the time? Do I really see? And there's several times I've said, no, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to train them up,
Get burnt.
and it get burnt.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't happen,
Sure.
and it costs a lot.
Yeah.
Onboard somebody, time, capital into it. So it's happened to me a couple of times. But you learn from every time,
Of
right?
course.
And so, however many years I've been in this business,
Well, it couldn't be more. It couldn't be more than 10 because you're only 30 years old. We know that. So
36.
36. 36. Yeah. The
business,
membership,
young business,
young,
yeah.
young professionals,
Young
man.
professional.
You gotta be all about it. We need to forge you a passport. We don't. Business Marketing Solutions Group does not forge passports. So anyway, we don't.
How much would that cost?
I don't know. I'm going
$50 up the street. I think.
off South China.
So we'll set Kaylee up in the back office. She'll just be taking passport photos.
Yeah.
Just need a nice printer.
Good.
Bill, would you like to be John?
Whenever this is the way our relationship works. By the way, whenever one of us says something that's totally off the cuff, like forging passports, the other one's always like, "Is that possible?" And both Chris and I just exchanged a glance. You'll be able to look at the video, and simultaneously, I know what both of us were thinking. Like, is that possible? And then we went through like a downward spiral of like, what would that take, and what in the world is that? Oh my God, how do people do that? And then oh yeah, we're a business legend. Employee management is tough. With the exception of Kaylee, she's very easy. But going with your gut is I'm a firm believer in that. I always worry whenever we're in a new position, and Christian and I have been very lucky that most of the people that we've hired over the years are people that we knew before. So we and actually Christian and I, before Business Marketing Solutions Group, we started, the way we initially became friends is working together. So we knew each other's work ethic, we were friends beforehand. And so we're very much like a relationship-based, hiring team from that perspective.
Super relationship based all around.
Yeah, I mean that goes down to everything for us. We tackle challenges based on the relationships that we build, and that's how we do marketing challenges, how we improve, so on and so forth. But it's really tough. We have a client right now. I don't want to say who they are. Just I'll tell you after the podcast. Just because of what I'm about to say. The number that they spend on uniforms alone, it would make you like, okay, we lost our backdrop.
Kaylee.
It's an Apple product.
Apple products.
Apple.
Yep. The amount that they spend on uniforms alone would make you vomit. I mean, it would. When I saw that number, it made me sick to my stomach. Because that's just burnt money, based on making the wrong choice of who to hire and whatever, or maybe filling in a pinch or something like that. But it is a huge number. So I mean that's what we have to deal with in the environment.
I wonder if in-house showers would save them money.
yeah, just like reduce, reuse, recycle. Hey,
You said showers, or did you mean?
Like shower at the place and then put their uniform on. It's there. It's in a wardrobe locked at the office instead of everybody leaving with it.
Probably not.
I would think a laundry room would be better.
Yeah, I would
Maybe
too.
shower threw me off a little.
Yeah.
Okay, I could maybe not see it, but.
When people,
Yeah, you're right.
So Christian, I hate to be the one to explain this to you, but when people wear clothes, the clothes themselves take on. Oh my God! Back to Phil. So it's amazing. So with landscaping though. So how long have you been with G&G now?
Actually, 5 months now.
5 months.
Yeah.
Wow, God, time flies.
You probably fixed everything.
Yeah.
No.
Like everything's
Absolutely
on the up and up. But it's amazing, and I do want to talk to you about ABC and your other relationship-based things as well. But we had originally met through ABC Carolinas. You and I co-chair the membership for the Charlotte branch of ABC Carolinas, and I just kind of wanted to touch on that because your career is very much like you're doing two large things at once. You're growing the business development side, whether that's the marketing, the sales departments of these things. And at the same time, you're doing your own business development, making relationships and things like that. And I know for a fact that you're involved with multiple communities, organizations, and so on and so forth. Can you touch on those organizations and what they've done for your career development, what they've what you've gotten out of it, because you do put a lot into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. I truly believe that as you're building the company that you're working for, building their brand and building their sales, you also have to build your own brand, your own personal brand.
Sure.
One for yourself, but then two for the company. So like you said, ABC Carolinas, been with them for several years, as you know. Being on the committees is where you need to be, get involved.
Mm-hmm.
right now, what I want everybody is when I walk in, they go, oh, there's Phil. They know me.
Yeah.
But then they also go, okay, he's with G&G Solutions.
Yeah.
They know who I am and who I work for. But it's just building relationships, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Is, I don't ask anybody, when I meet them, is for, hey, what can I do, let me price out a project. No, I don't. I'm not asking for business right away. That'll come.
Yeah.
It's helping other people grow their business, helping other people network, get connected.
Sure.
And then it comes around, and it really does. And the same thing with the Greater Charlotte Apartment Association. I sit on their membership committee as well, and I'm fairly new to them. But it's the same thing as ABC. It is about just branding myself, but also, hey, that's Phil with G&G Landscape Solutions.
Yeah. And
it just really has opened over the years. I've belonged, in the hotel days, MPI, SCSAE, AENC, all of those. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's helping the association out, helping other people first, before I ask for anything.
For sure. I had a great you just reminded me, I had a great conversation. So the guy that owns Burners Cigars in Brookdale, he's a member of the club that I'm in. He does all the cigars stuff with them and whatnot. He's a full-time firefighter, and he owns this cigar lounge as well. He's a really cool guy. But he was talking about that, and we just had a great conversation about business. And he said, the reality of the matter is that there's a lot of people in the world. There's a lot of people in the United States, a lot of people in our area. There's a lot of people that do landscaping, there's a lot of people who do marketing. He said, to grow a business, what you really have to do is you have to establish trust with people. There's a whole lot to say for likability as well. Like if somebody likes you, chances are they're going to do business with you. But you want to be on the top of mind in the sense where in his case it was cigars, right? He said, one of the biggest things in the cigar world is, you have ranges of severity of cigars, right? You have really, really mild ones, you even have fruity, floral ones, and then you have ones that are strong, they'll make you cough your lungs out and stuff, right? Here I am, I own a cigar lounge, and most people think that I'm going to smoke the strong one because it's like, oh, macho, I own the cigar lounge or whatever. It's not like that. I smoke what I like. I smoke a lot of different stuff, but I smoke the cigar that I like. But for me, one of the first things that I tell any new sales rep, which I think this is very relevant to us and sales reps and stuff, he said, don't make anybody feel stupid about what they prefer to smoke. Like you could have a big burly dude in there, and if he gets the fruitiest, floweriest, floralist, cigar, say, yeah, I hope you enjoy that. It's not about that, and it's so easy, especially sometimes as men, I feel that we go, oh, you chicken, you smoking, floral or whatever, but that's kind of what it's about. It's about the way that you end up becoming treated, and that goes full circle around to associations, relationships. It goes into your sales processes, everything. One of the things, so I said you kind of have this duality to your position. Kind of interesting because Christian and I, business partners, we kind of we handle a lot as business owners or whatever, but we kind of have pillars of business. He's more of the business development side. I'm more of the getting yelled at and give all of my employees the code to the door to get into the podcast room. Don't worry, by the way, Kaylee, I had to give Christian the code too. But with that being said, it's interesting because as we network and we do network, what we've noticed is that for better or for worse, and it's always been like this, even in other positions. I'm typically the person that starts the conversation, and I develop relationships and friends and stuff like that. And then Christian's usually the one that gets the sale. I don't want to say it like that, but he changes the relationship with us into has the conversations about services, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you had any insights into that. So how do you typically convert? I'm sure it's not just people coming to you, because that's the best, right? People's like, hey, I need some landscaping. You're like, oh, it's awesome,
I know Phil and I immediately feel weird about this because, when I have those conversations with people, I don't think about it as, converting. It's almost like my trust has gotten to a point where it peaks and they're willing to have that conversation with me about doing business, and it just, it converts naturally for me, and I don't really know how else to explain that.
And absolutely, it's about their needs.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need? How can I help you?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, I will say a reflection upon myself is that I'm really bad at, you know, this sounds bad, but in business we all do it, right? I'm really bad at like monetizing my relationships, if that makes sense, and asking for referrals, part of business growth, but I'm really good at building the relationship to begin with. So it's interesting, you know, always looking for ways that you can grow from a business perspective in that way. So it's interesting, you know, luckily we have two guys with two skill sets in that way, because we tackle a lot of stuff together. I mean, you've seen us at events and stuff together, but just kind of interesting that it tends to work out that way. All right, well, I think that's all for today on Business Legends. Well, first off, before I say funny question, Karen specifically asked me on air last week to give you shit about your swag. She says you need to up your swag game. So,
we don't have any. I'm trying to
exactly,
right now.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I'm
So
trying
Karen,
to.
yeah, so Karen told me to give you shit about that. But it's not really fair. Like when you're comparing to Catalyst swag, it's like,
That's.
I mean, we all got
That's
yours.
over the top.
Yeah, we all. So
Very,
Catalyst,
very, very purple.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
everything purple always or yellow.
You know when they're there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
absolutely do.
That's you know, I think she is a beautiful case study for branding, because
Absolutely.
like if you know, even amongst bigger players in construction in the area, if you see Catalyst, you know they're there. That's
Yeah, you do.
especially as compared to others. Okay, I've bought myself some time. I've been trying to think of a funny question or comment or something like that.
You get one?
No,
Nothing?
just sitting here.
All right, I got a question.
Here we go.
All right, Phil, could you sell ice to an Igloo owner?
Ice to an Igloo owner.
Yep.
It all depends if that Igloo owner has a need for new ice.
It makes a lot of sense. Like maybe he's trying to get an extension to his house, and you're driving by with a big trailer of ice. You're like, would you like to add the living room onto the side of that? And
Absolutely.
That's how you
I
do it?
definitely could.
That's a brilliant question.
I think so.
When I fire you, I can't fire him, by the way. We're partners. I make jokes. We make jokes about this internally always. But, oh well, I'll have to talk to my boss about it. So mirror. But we'll have to remember that for the. Do you believe? So when you're interviewing people, do you ask them? So common sales question or common interview question is sell me this pen, right? I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yes.
Do you believe in that, or do you think that's corny? And
You know,
awful?
I for G&G, I had through the interview process, I talked with a lot of different people, and
How many pins did you buy? I was kidding.
What?
I said, how many pins did you buy?
and one of the guys asked me that, but you know, it happens. I just don't.
Sure.
Personally,
It's really just a question to like put you on your toes. It's supposed
Yeah.
to like see how you fight in like that flight or fight setup.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of awkward if you've ever been asked the question.
I have, yeah.
But you just pre-interview train for it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the way I get to it is I just ask, take me through the last deal you made from beginning to end. That's the same way as sell me the pen. How
Yeah.
did you sell it to the last one? So
That is brilliant. Okay, I have to ask one more now. So what exactly are you looking for with that when you ask somebody that? Because I think that's very similar, and I think it's a lot less awkward. Like, show me. But what are you? I know you're trusting your gut. What are you looking for with when you're asking about the deal that they've made? Like, what types of things are you looking for them to say?
and a lot of things that comes out of that, a lot of items. I say from the time you talk with them to the time the sale, right? The sales cycle, how long? How many times did you
Smart.
touch base with
That's
that
really
person?
smart. That's really
Right?
smart. How many smart?
It happens every
You
so
know, for a
often.
droid owner, I mean, I just didn't expect this out of you. Okay, sorry.
No, just the activities. Well, how many times did you have to email them or call them or text them?
Wow.
How was the meeting set
I
up
should
from the
take notes
beginning?
of this. Take notes. Where's your
take
pen?
notes.
Take notes.
It's being recorded. You can
But, oh yeah.
There you go. I'll give you some tips after this.
Oh, nice. Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, so it just takes me through the whole process. What questions did you ask them?
Yeah.
What question did they ask you? So that one process of beginning to end answers a lot of my questions.
Sure.
So
Yeah, that's brilliant. I feel like one of the things that I would look for, and I tried to end the podcast, ask you my funny thing. I could have signed off, and now I'm talking more. But it's my birthday. I do what I want.
It's your birthday.
So I think one of the things I would look for with that would be if they asked open-ended questions that were pursued
exactly right.
towards the customer's needs,
Yep.
particularly. I mean, I think that's brilliant. I'm gonna do that.
You kind of got to
I think I'm gonna hire a sales rep.
You got to.
Not you.
Blah. That'll be the weirdest sales rep ever.
Strange person.
Strangers.
I think today I would completely annihilate a sales candidate that was a hard seller. I don't think it exists anymore.
Well, it depends on the product. Yeah.
Depends on the industry, I think.
I
I think they do.
service.
I think it's a primary. I think 70% at least is
For
all
us,
consulting these days.
yeah, for us, we don't hard sell.
Oh, there's not a chance.
No,
Yeah.
you guys, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm-
Pest control, that's a hard sell right there.
Yeah.
I'm at your door.
Mm-hmm.
I just did your evaluation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. It's still consulting though. Like it
I
used to be
think-
like, you need it, your kid's gonna die of malaria.
Well,
Um,
but what about our background? What about our background? Our background's personal training. I mean, I don't think you get the business without.
So
I
I
mean,
think
you
that
start the
works.
consult, but I think that after you get past the emotional barriers and stuff, I mean, I
Yeah,
think
but
there's quite a bit of hard.
could you imagine that these days though? Like back then we used to be like imagine yourself when you were 40, 50 pounds ago, you're talking about all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine today in like the fat shaming community and all of that, saying those
That's
same
the point.
questions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it gets you in trouble. I think you gotta be a little softer.
Just based on what we're saying and not painting them in a negative light, I could think of a gym owner that still hard sells like that very much.
Probably.
And you know the person. I guarantee you know the person.
I'm sure he does.
Because- yeah, and it works. Very successful gym operation.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you guys were trainers
Mhm.
together,
Yeah, I was way more fit, just so you know.
so, so were you trainers together, like 2 for 1, like we both train you,
No,
or is it just
no.
one-offs? or-
That would have killed you.
So yeah,
No, I would have absolutely.
it would have
not.
been a terrible situation. No, actually, so when Christian and I first met, we worked for a nightclub. We did promotions for a nightclub and stuff like that. That's how we met. And then we transferred into working in a gym. We were personal trainers for 3 or 4 years or something like that. But yeah, so when we did that, it's kind of funny how things work out. So he originally got me the job at the nightclub, and then I got him the job as the trainer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he got me the job as the trainer, but we were already friends at that point. And then he became my manager, and he can attest to the fact that I'm the least manageable person you will ever meet in your entire life. He would tell me to do
I can
something.
see that.
Yeah, he would tell me to do something. I'd be like, nah, not gonna do it. Like it's just because if it was like outside of the job, I'd be like, nah, not doing it. Like I was awful. We'd have team meetings and stuff. And at the time, I was a 1099. I mean, I was an independent contractor. I'm not doing that.
Like, and I didn't care enough to push it because I was like,
Yeah, still friends.
I was just trying to make money back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
So
Not
we
very
have
passionate about
this
it.
required mandatory team meeting. Yeah, are you gonna pay me for it? No. Okay, well, see you tomorrow. I'm not gonna go. that's how it would go pretty much. But oh man, we're gonna have some conversations about that over lunch for sure. Phil, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so
no,
much
I
for joining
appreciate
us
it.
today.
Yes, thank you, both of you, for having me on. This was great.
Yeah.
And again, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.